course of a few days, we've gotten a huge array of photos from the set of Superman, which has given us our best look, and a lot of them, at the Superman suit. Our first looks at most of the cast, certain characters from the DCU and certain actors appearing in the movie, and a newly revealed villain we didn't yet know will appear in the movie either. We then also got some huge news regarding lanterns, and in this video I'll be breaking all of that down and giving my thoughts regarding everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to help me get to 100,000 subscribers. Let's actually start with lanterns, since most of the video will end up being Superman related, so let's get the lanterns portion out of the way. Not that it's unimportant though, as while Lanterns was announced to be a Max show back in January 2023, it has now been officially ordered for 8 episodes over at HBO, not Max. Lanterns will be written by Damon Lindelof, known for Lost and Watchmen, alongside a lot of other shows, and Tom King, known for a lot of different comics, most notably because it's being adapted into this universe, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. He's known for a lot of other comics. None of them are actually Green Lantern though, they're like everything except for Green Lantern. And then the show will be run by Chris Mundy, known for Ozark and True Detective, which is very fitting since from the beginning we knew that Lanterns will be inspired by True Detective. The quality of the writing of the shows and comics to come out of these creatives is incredibly promising, and the fact that it's airing on HBO like its inspiration True Detective is a bit of a stamp of quality that all but ensures this will be something special. In the article breaking the news, they also gave a logline for the show, saying new recruit Stewart and Lantern legend Jordan are two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. We already knew about the Earth-based mystery. We now know that it is a murder, and Gunn previously mentioned that this will all connect to the overall story of the chapter. What we didn't know is that John Stewart is a new recruit, which seems to mean that he was recruited after Guy Gardner, since Guy is appearing in Superman. This was the case in the comics as well, but Guy was like immediately put into a coma after being recruited, so then John Stewart was a real character before Guy. I guess that coma maybe just didn't happen in this universe, but in the end, Lanterns is most certainly my most anticipated DCU show, and this just got me more excited. Let's move on to the Superman set photos, which have given us our first good look, and a lot of them, at the Superman suits. And I gotta say, the official reveal photo did this suit really dirty. Seeing it clean in broad daylight and fully, I like it so much more than I expected to. I love the material used for the suit and the light shade of blue. The trunks fit perfectly, and the lines on the suit are far less overbearing than they seemed in the reveal photo. One thing that sets this suit apart from most, if not all, live-action Superman suits is the sheer amount of yellow. The belt, the yellow border on the logo, and the yellow logo on the cape, which I absolutely love. The shade of yellow maybe sways a bit too much towards orange, or at least in this lighting it does, but overall I love how colorful this suit is with the light shade of blue, lots of red, and lots of yellow. It contrasts really well with the drab and colorless suits of both the DCEU and Superman and Lois, which isn't what I prefer, which really shows that I'm not biased here. I love Superman and Lois, but the suit isn't my favorite. This I like a lot more. The belt itself is very simple, but I think it works really well to fit in with the rest of the suit. I don't love the belt straps, but I am so glad we got the trunks back. I used to be very anti-trunks a couple years ago, but every trunkless suit has felt incomplete, and the CW made some of the best live-action Superman suits work really well in live-action with the trunks, and now this movie has as well. At this point, I don't think we should ever go back. Superman should always and forever have trunks. Notably, the collar looks a bit different from the reveal photo, being more open in the front, which looks a lot better and a lot more comfortable. Honestly, the raised collar in the back also looks a little uncomfortable, and it's very unnecessary. I think they should have gotten rid of it, but maybe the reveal photo was just a prototype and this is what it ended up being. If so, they did improve the suit since that photo. The suit itself looks great. It could use some updating over time, but for a first costume in this universe, it's pretty much perfect. I honestly have no notes. David Corenswet also fills it out really well, looking like Superman, honestly ripped straight out of the comics. He gives off an aura in these set photos alone, especially in the ones where he's smiling, that is so perfectly earnest, so perfectly likable, so perfectly Superman. He doesn't have the hair loop in any of these photos though, which is a crying shame, but either way the costume looks great and would look so good paired up with Robert Pattinson's Batman. Kinda bummed that's not what we're getting, but hopefully the DCU Batman will look that good too. Maybe will contrast just as well with the DCU Superman. So that was Superman, but we also got our first look at Clark Kent, whose look is a lot more surprising than Superman's. Clark is rocking a very Gen Z hairstyle. He actually is not Gen Z in this universe, he's like one of the younger millennials, but his hairstyle is wildly different from his Superman hair, which, if you combine that with the huge glasses, which then also cover the entirety of the top of Clark's face, it all kind of goes a huge way to make Clark's disguise work really well. Like, I could totally buy this version of Clark not being recognized as this version of Superman. It's interesting because while Superman kind of just looks like David Corenswet, Clark is the one who they changed David's look for, which just makes so much sense, since it is as Clark where the character himself changes his look. As of right now, I love Clark's look, I love Superman's look, but then alongside the Superman costume reveal, we also got our first look at Eddie Gathegi as Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, in his full glory. The actor looks really good in the role, and the costume looks ripped right out of the comics. In general, Mr. Terrific's costume isn't nearly as good or as difficult to adapt as Superman's, but this is basically just as good as it gets. This is absolutely perfect. The leather jacket looks great, with the design forming a T on the front, and with the large amount of white going a long way for the color scheme of the design, looking great with the red and black. Beyond that, it's just really cool to see every aspect of the comic design adapted, like the fair play on the sleeve, Terrific on the back, and the T-mask, all of which looks really great, making for a character who just straight up looks like it's a live action version of the comic book character. It's ripped straight out of the page. Like the comics, Mr. Terrific seems to have a sleek suit under the jacket, one with its own unique design, which we haven't quite seen yet, and I'm excited to. I am also very excited to see what Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho all look like, because that has yet to be revealed. In this whole set of set photos, we did see Nicholas Hoult on the set, but he's wearing a hat and doesn't seem to be dressed in character, so I wouldn't say we've seen Lex Luthor quite yet. We have, however, seen Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Lois is wearing her signature purple, and yeah, Rachel looks absolutely fantastic in the role. We even got some photos of Superman and Lois interacting, and I gotta say, these mere images already show off more chemistry between the two than the DCEU Clark and Lois ever had. That in and of itself isn't really saying much though. It's the Superman and Lois relationship that this has to live up to, and just based on these photos, it's looking extremely promising. I cannot wait to see what this movie has in store for us regarding these two. From there, we got brief looks at the rest of the Daily Planet staff. Wendell Pierce as Perry White, complete with the cigar and vest. Yeah, that's Perry. Christopher McDonald as Ron Troop, looking a lot like his comic counterpart. Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, the most comic accurate looking Jimmy to ever be cast, in my opinion. Breck Bennett as Steve Lombard, complete with the mustache. He's not ginger, but otherwise looks just like the character. And Michaela Hoover as Cat Grant, with the actress wearing a blonde wig, which not only makes her look more like the comic character, but also it fits her. Cat Grant would absolutely wear a wig. Beyond the Daily Planet, we got our first look at Sarah Sampiao as Eve Tessmacher. My only note is that she looks great. An actress named Paige Mobley was seen on set, having not been revealed to be in the movie prior to this. As of now, it's unconfirmed who she is playing, but it seems like a lot of people are theorizing that she's playing Lena Luthor, which is entirely possible. Maybe the older people she's standing with here are Lex and Lena's parents. Lex's company is called Luthor Corp in this movie rather than LexCorp, so it suggests that it's a family company. I could totally see Lex taking over the company in this movie and renaming it to LexCorp, and maybe his family, including Lena, will play a role in that story. And last but not least, some spoilerific set photos confirm one DCU character appearing in the movie, one completely new unrevealed character, and one plot point. If you don't want to know anything about this, click off here. These set photos show Superman being arrested by the US government. The engineer seems to have taken part in this arrest, meaning she's working for the government. Confirmed to be in this movie only now is Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., which will be his second of 3 confirmed appearances. He's also taking part in this arrest, which suggests to me that this is all the work of Amanda Waller. If I had to predict, I think Waller will appear in Superman. In these set photos, he just straight up looks exactly like Crossbones in The Winter Soldier. He's been typecast as a military man arresting blue Boy Scout superheroes. Finally, the person who seems to be the entire reason they were even able to apprehend Superman, this mysterious figure in a full head-to-toe covered costume and a U on his chest. There were a lot of rumors in the past that this movie will feature a non-multiversal version of Ultraman, who will be a clone of Clark's created by Lex Luthor. Given the U on the chest, the fact that his face is covered, and the fact that he was able to apprehend Superman adds a lot of weight and supports these rumors. I could see maybe Ultraman deteriorating over time until he becomes Bizarro. though. But the costume doesn't quite look like any Ultraman design. He looks a lot more like a much more minor Superman villain named Neil Quinn, aka Ulysses, who is the son of scientists whose parents saved him from an earthquake by sending him into the 4th dimension where he got superhuman abilities, including strength, speed, flight, and energy projection. Either possibility is, well, possible, but I'd say this just seems a lot more likely to be Ulysses, because this character seems to have nothing in common with Ultraman other than the U on his chest. Regardless of who it is, this design is a pretty cool one, looking semi-inspired by Black Noir from The Boys, but with some goggles. I will say, as an Ultraman costume, it absolutely sucks. As a Ulysses costume, it's actually an upgrade from the comics. There are still a few characters we haven't seen quite yet, and I'm excited to see all of them, but this was a huge amount of first looks all at once, and I cannot be happier with what I'm seeing. I'm more hyped than ever for what will hopefully be the best Superman movie ever made, and also the first time the Green Lanterns have ever been cool in live action.